Mic check. 4. What up, Joe?
What's going on, Josh?
Derby week getting. I'm
Looking like
hyped.
Unabomber today.
Oh yeah, I'm hyped. I got those fireworks going. I was at a firework party, so I didn't want anybody to know who I was. What do you think about that thunder over Louisville?
It's fun.
Well, welcome back to Loopers for Life Game 3 podcast. We are pumped and excited because we got a lot of stuff to cover from our picks from last week. The plaid jacket, Lydia Cohen getting the dub for the first time in a few years, and just some local golf talk. What do you think?
It's good. Good.
You got any caddy stories for us?
I got a bunch of caddy stories.
You have any derby stories for us?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, you got to bring those next week. What about today? We have to start with a snow day here in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yes. And you know anybody working in a pro shop right now.
How many times
you
did
know
you get
they
that call?
they got a phone call. Some guy had a day off work. He's looking forward to playing golf. Hey,
it was 70 yesterday.
When do you think the golf course will clear up? And like, there's 3 inches of snow on the ground, sir.
Hey,
well, that's okay. The green's clear. Can I play? Yeah.
Think the range will be open?
Yeah. You know that happened.
I need the range open. I mean, when's the short game going to be open, Pro? Those phone calls were always some of the best calls because, you're sitting there after a 70-degree day here in the spring, and you're excited to have a day where like, oh, it's 50 degrees and there's potential of snow. There's going to be less people. As excited as you are for having everybody play your facility when it's 70 degrees, the next day is so good, isn't it?
My favorite was always the guy who wanted a 9 o'clock tee time. You told him you had 8:50 open. He said, "Oh, that's a little bit too early."
Oh, my favorite is putting together the dew, the frost.
Frost delay.
Oh, the frost delay and the temperature gauge and what you have to have the barometric pressure. I mean, when you have that and everything just goes right.
Yes.
Winds coming from the southwest. Oh, we'll be open in about 30 minutes.
Yes.
So much fun. So
only so many 30-cent cups of coffee you can sell in the shop.
No, there is 30 cents. That's
I'm going
back in the
back. I'm
day.
going back
I mean,
a
my
ways,
gosh.
going back a ways.
Now shops have their own bistros right now.
Yeah.
I mean, every clubhouse has a bistro. Coming in with their Starbucks and whatnot.
Yes.
So speaking of one that I guarantee you has a bistro, Harbortown this past weekend. What'd you think?
It was absolutely great to see Stewart Sink win. I don't know how we didn't throw, but he's 47.
He's 47. I mean, he hasn't won.
But he played well at the Masters.
He got his first win in 2020, and ironically had his son on the bag. And one for the Loopers right there.
Oh,
absolutely. What a great moment.
I'm just curious, did he get the 10%, or did he get just an upgrade in his allowance? I mean, how does that work?
No, that is definitely more than 10%. If you're Stewart Sink, you're giving him probably the whole winner's check right there.
Yeah.
And what's amazing fact about that, Joey, is that he won $1.2 million, and this is his third time that he's won at Harbortown, the Heritage. $1.2 million was the winner's purse, what he took home.
Right.
And the 2 other times combined was only $1.4 million.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you what.
So just how the times have changed, and specifically who that came from?
Yes.
Tiger Woods, y'all. Am I right? Tiger's still out there. Hopefully, Tiger, just from us here in Louisville, Kentucky, we hope you're better. Glad you're not here recovering on a cold spring day. It is a cold spring day, but what a great time to talk about what Hilton Head is and what that golf course really presented to the players. And as we spoke last week, it's a shot maker's course, and Stewart Sink has been playing great golf. He really was, got his first win in 2020 there at the end with the sun on the bag. First win in 11 years, by the way.
Yes.
First win in 11 years. So, again, another player staying in the process, being able to plot it out, and then, put himself back into a position when he does start striking the ball well to play the golf courses that fit your game.
I think he'll win again this year.
Oh, there's no doubt. I think that he's looking now after that to make the Ryder Cup team.
Yes.
I mean, with this being the Ryder Cup year, there's no doubt that Stewart Sink is going to have a heavy, especially with his experience, a heavy hand in possibly qualifying, not even having to worry about one of the 4 picks.
Right.
Just being one of the top 8 right there.
Right.
And, great field that he played against last week. And, we'll start with our fantasy. And my cousin T-Rock from around the block, he shot me a text on Friday afternoon. He said, look, if anybody's listening and they put out and playing on fantasy draft days, they are going to go. He had all 5 players, Teague. All 5 players were in the top 10 that Friday afternoon text that you sent.
If you would have had my guys with sync, you would have made some money.
Oh, there's parlaying in fantasy?
Oh yeah, well see that's what it is. So you pick 6 guys.
I like that.
And then basically all 6 of your guys have to make the cut. So having guys that make the cut is humongous.
Right.
And I know, look, I told you I get a lot of these picks from my dad and my uncle, and they both had very good weekends.
Oh,
so,
Ridge Rock Entertainment is they're out there doing it on the.
They had some good
board,
weekends.
So.
This is more profitable than the stock
Well,
market.
just to go back on that for all of our listeners, and this is one thing that we're going to always start this show out is calling each other out. And Joey really didn't jump into that picking game.
I was
thinking
just
going
Stewart
along
Sink,
with.
but I was too scared to say
you
it.
were. That's exactly how I felt about Justin Rose, by the way. As I was thinking Justin Rose because he picks. I pick him for every major, but this one I didn't. I picked Matt Kuchar.
How did Kuchar do?
Let's talk about Matt Kuchar. He was 9 under par. Mm-hmm. He had top tie for 18th place.
Okay, top 20. That's good.
Balled on top of the leaderboard.
There you go.
Let's talk about my European pick.
Still not a fan of Matt Kuchar,
Ian
though.
Porter, Mr. Poulter, America's favorite player to hate. He had a top 50.
Okay.
He had -4.
Right.
He was under there. And then let's talk about your picks. I mean, now we're getting a T-Rock around the block. My cuz right here. Corey Connors was your featured pick. He was -13 for a top 5. He had a T4.
There you go.
There you go.
I had Glover.
You had Glover, and he was 7 under par. He tied for 33rd.
How about Charlie Hoffman?
He was 9 under par, and he tied for 18.
Okay.
Tied my man Cooch in the Skechers.
And then the other one I think I picked was Answer.
Yeah, you had Abraham Answer. He was -9. He was a top 18. All over the board. And like I said, the best thing was that Friday when you sent that text.
Yeah, man. They're all in top 10.
Not only are you looking at all the guys that are going to be playing on the weekend, these are the guys that are playing on top of the board. And guess what? My guys were there too, Joey. Where were your guys?
Sitting in the clubhouse.
Well, if it was Stewart Sink, and you didn't say anything about it.
I didn't think.
Stuart
I was
Sink.
just making that up.
But
I
he had a
wasn't
great
thinking
Masters,
Stuart
though. I
Sink.
mean, the writing was on the wall there
But
for
yes,
sure.
the writing was on the wall.
He
And
was-
not only that, but he's won that tournament.
He's
times.
been playing
And-
well. He knows that golf course.
Yes.
Again, length isn't a major factor, but he still has plenty of it.
Right.
He is a shot maker. He broke Jack Nicklaus's 36-hole scoring record.
Oh, did not
Jack
know that.
Nicklaus was 13 under the par for 36 holes. He was 16 under par for 36 holes.
Wow.
He had a final total of -19. He shot a couple of 70s. The most impressive thing is that he did what he had to do, and that is make pars down the stretch. The value of pars on a shot-making golf course, and
Yeah. Right.
this is just as a looper,
Yeah.
without a doubt, that's how you win.
Since we are loopers, let's talk about this change in his caddy. I mean, I think that he is just comfortable with having his son on the bag.
Right.
And nothing against his former caddy, Kip, that he let go back a few
Yeah,
months
he
ago.
has. He's got a great Twitter following.
Now, but Joey, this isn't immediate. So
Yeah,
his,
yeah,
son,
he's
his
only
son's
for
his
a
son's his son's been on the bag for over a year. I think it's taken him a while to adjust to it, honestly.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
So I mean, this is
This is just a temporary arrangement. I mean,
it started out as a temporary arrangement.
started out as a temporary, but he's already committed to saying, "Hey, I'm going in and doing my business world and doing what he's going to do." So he is not
Right.
going to be a caddy full time. He's going to take his position, and I think he may ride out this year to the Ryder Cup. I
Right.
guarantee it. I would.
Well, I would just say, I would just think that, having your son on the bag, being 47, obviously you're still taking golf seriously, but you know that your time is up on the PGA Tour and you're getting old. I just think that would put you in a comfort zone of just, hitting some shots.
Well, interesting enough, he's only the 4th player that is over the age of 47 that has won multiple times on the PGA Tour. He is joined by Sam Snead and Julius Burrows, 2 of the greatest mountain hillbillies ever,
Yes.
right? Or, West Virginia or Virginia, West Virginia. Everybody claims Sam Snead.
Right.
And then Julius Burrows, if you don't know who
he was
is,
58 when he won.
one of the greatest golf professionals that's ever played the game, and he was the head professional at Mid Pines and Pine Needles, and just a great PGA professional. And back in the day where they were head pros and played, he won major championships.
Yes.
And so then you look at, and then ultimately he became the playing professional for Mid Pines and whatnot, and he was no longer pulling out trolleys. I guess in those days they were pulling out trolleys. They weren't pulling out carts. If they did you ever ride in one of those 3-wheelers?
Yes, we had them at Bobby Nichols, Harley Davidsons. They were let's
Davidsons.
just say, coming down number 7 at Bobby Nichols in a Harley Davidson with the handle steering wheel, the metal handle steering wheel, your golf clubs laid down in the back, and yeah, they got a little dangerous.
If I ever have a golf cart, I definitely would want a retro.
Yeah, well, we had a guy that played golf up at Bobby Nichols. His name was Elvis Presley. Believe it or not, Bobby Nichols. We had a Elvis Presley.
He
we
peanut butter sandwiches.
We had a Ricky
with some
Nelson.
bacon on it.
Yeah. But he had one of those carts up until the mid '90s, and it didn't have a muffler on it, so it was this nice little 3-wheel Harley Davidson, and those things were fun.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But those if I ever get one, I'm getting one of those, and I would want to have a Harley Davidson engine in there, wouldn't you, T?
Oh yeah, man. I look out back window and I'm starting to see some interesting things. Those bikes that you put the clubs on the back, those look kind of cool.
Right.
I don't even know what they're called.
The fence scooters.
Yeah.
Just
Those are
little
cool.
motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fence scooters. And I'm giving you a shout out, Paul Brunlin. He's the Kentucky sales representative. He's also in Tennessee, and he represents those, and they are fun to ride.
Yes.
But kind of going back, let me go back to Stuart Sink. The other individual that he joined was Kentucky's own Kenny Perry.
Yes, Kenny Perry won twice.
Twice,
Yes.
over 47.
Over
And so
47.
that is a sign of the times of the PGA Tours that, yes, you have all these young guns, but the game of golf is a test of time.
Yes.
And, the fitness level that Tiger Woods brought to the PGA Tour, the sports psychologist, the whole posse effect that there's out there now, you're better athletes, you're going to win later. Ironically, he beat, for his only major championship, he beat Tom Watson, one of the greatest players that ever played the game, out of the most probably sentimental tour around the British Open that has ever been played or televised, and beat him in the playoff, which was incredible because the whole world was playing against him.
Yeah, how old was Tom at that time? He was 50,
Tom was 62.
60. Whoa, he was.
Yeah,
old.
was he 62 or 52? He was 52, maybe.
I'm not sure. I have to go
It was
back
10
and look,
years
but
ago, so
I guess
it was.
we need to do our research on
Yeah,
that.
we need to be better at that, but we'll get there. I mean, we just have a pro shop manager. I mean, and he's got we got to get the minions in here as we go.
So does this put Stink in line to make the Ryder Cup?
I think so. Yeah, he's won twice in the calendar year with the Ryder Cup year. The points were carried over from the year before with COVID and everything, but it is definitely going to be something to where you will see him play well on old school golf courses that he's played multiple times.
And he was on the Ryder Cup team here.
Yeah, and he has the experience. I mean, the experience of winning the British Open and what he did in the Ryder Cup. He won some matches and has a pretty good point total, too. I think Steve Stricker will be looking hard at him with the experience to be able to bring in, especially as Tiger Woods isn't available, probably will not be able to play.
Right.
Hopefully he does. But he will be looking to provide some locker room experience.
He's 24th right now. So he's, in my opinion, he's on the outside looking in.
Yeah, but that, you can still pick him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
So-
if he wins a couple more times and he plays well, though, I mean, it's all about what's about ready to happen.
I think he's going to win again. I mean,
Well,
I really do.
Once we get through this week, and this week on the PGA Tour is the Zurich Classic, and the Zurich Classic is a great event because it's kind of another breather before the golf season really begins on
Right.
the PGA Tour. The meet after the Masters, and so this 2-man event that's there at the Zurich Classic, TPC of Louisiana. Joe, do you know who designed the TPC of Louisiana?
Was that
Probably the most.
Donald Ross?
No, I don't know. He was.
TPC, what am I saying? Donald Ross.
Yeah,
I went around on TPC.
there's only one TPC guy, and his
Yeah.
name is Pete Dye,
Oh,
my
okay.
man. Pete
Yeah,
Dye.
how did I miss that one?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm
All right.
sure you got a call
Imagine
from
that.
French Lick this past week,
No,
didn't you?
I didn't get any calls.
They didn't say, "Hey, you're not looping this."
No, I love French Lick.
Oh, you
Absolutely
know it.
love Pete Dye Golf Course. and
French Lick
was-
is a fantastic facility, and what a great resort.
Yes.
But the Pete Dye Golf Course at TPC Louisiana, and the format with the 2-man teams.
Yes.
A lot of President Cup pairings, a lot of Ryder Cup pairings. You're going to see the captains look and pay attention to who's playing well with each other because it's a mix, and this is the cool thing about it. Not many of these tournaments outside of the Ryder Cups and our President Cup matches to where you're playing foursomes and 4-ball,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
As a looper, do you know what a 4-ball is?
Oh, yeah.
What's a 4-ball?
you know what a four ball is. You tell us what a four ball is.
I'm not telling you what a four ball is.
That
You know
seemed
what
like
a foursome
that seemed
is?
like a no, but you tell him. I don't know if he knows.
He doesn't know. You don't know. I mean, you know what a foursome is, don't you? You're always
Yes,
like,
I
hey,
know
hold
what a
up.
foursome is.
Is sixsomes permitted in Looper's world?
They're permitted when you got a game going on.
Always permitted when
Always
you're.
permitted when you
They're
got a game
always
going on.
permitted when you're in the game.
Yes.
If
yes.
you're the guy that's behind the game, that's
No,
not permitted. But if you're in the game,
No, if there is a game going on and you need to settle a bet, then yeah.
I really enjoy it, and this week's fantasy picks, I mean, are going to be interesting just because, and we're going to come back to those, and we're going to save those for the end of this podcast.
Yes.
But it is going to be interesting because you really got to look out for internationals. You got to look out for the American duos and the Ryder Cup, partners, especially in a Ryder Cup year. Stuart Sink, though, again,
Yes. I mean,
love him, great player,
yes.
right?
Great guy. Great guy.
Why
It was
did
a
you have to win the British Open though against Tom Watson?
Well,
Tom hit a great shot in there. I mean, it just caught the downside of a mound, and it was kind of like Hideki Matsuyama's, kicked over the edge, and then the whole world just knew that he was going to make bogey and go into that playoff. All he had to do is just get it up and down.
I kind of like the underdog though. I mean,
Right
know
there,
I know
when it went into a playoff, it did not.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't know what year that was. I can't remember. I did not write that down in my plethora of notes that I wrote. But that British Open win is Stuart Sink's only major. I do expect him to continue his play and move up to the Ryder Cup rankings. Even if he's somewhere near at the 24th position, he's going to require serious merit and consideration from his past accomplishments and how he's playing.
Yeah, plus Stricker being,
Yeah, they're probably bullies.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
Well, and you've got a plethora of young guns here that have already qualified. Dustin Johnson, DeChambeau, Justin Thomas, Morikawa, Schauffele, Koepka. Those guys are in.
So who could he possibly?
So right now, Patrick Reed is in 7th. Finau's in 8th. Finau's an interesting one.
Yeah.
That guy can play.
Finau can play,
Yes.
and Finau is interesting because he has got to develop the killer instinct. He has got to step on the throw. He has got to make that move. That is what's hurting.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've had this conversation with many people who are in the golfing that follow the tours and the fantasies and whatnot. He is a great play weekly, and
Right.
he is going to be
It's just too nice of a guy.
He's going to be. He's always going to be on top of the board. I mean,
Yeah.
he hits it too good. But to go to that next level, he has got to get that major win, and he's got to put it together on a Sunday. And it's
Yes.
not a major win that I think that he has to have because those are hard, but it needs to be a major quality win. It needs to be
Yeah.
like a Muirfield,
Yes.
like Jack
Yes.
Nicklaus.
Or a Players.
Yeah.
It has to be at one of those golf courses or a congressional up in D.C. at Tiger
Yes.
Woods event. I mean, you have to win on a golf course that just demands that.
Yes.
And so, speaking about winning, I'm gonna before we jump off the tours, and let's talk about the LPGA Tour because
Yes.
really pumped up last week. It was in Hawaii. A lot of great players. We talked about that with 7 out of the top 10 being in the field, and we had a winner that is notorious for what the game of golf is on the women's side. Young, athletic, and can straight ball out. Congratulations, Lydia Cohen.
Yes.
I was extremely excited as a golf professional and a golf coach as one of the swings that I've always just like recorded from her coming up and, use to a lot of my students to show them, especially the girls, of this is what she is or how she has done it and just balled out. And she has so much success early to fall off the map and again,
Yes.
stay the process. Get the dub. Tell me what you know about that.
I mean, I tell you, it's tough when you lose your confidence and just basically, it's great to see her win.
Have you ever had a player when you were caddying? On the ranks and trying to chase it, see that mid course or mid game or anything like that?
Yeah, I've had a few. It's just, it's tough out there.
It's a tough.
It's
tough out there on that level. It is
Yeah.
for sure, right?
Like I said earlier last week. People don't realize how good these women are. There's a lot of guys you hear talk about. Oh, I could beat these girls. I'm the club champion over here, or whatever. No, you're not beating them.
Right.
And it's
I've
great.
heard that at the church league too,
Yeah.
playing basketball.
Well, yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh yeah, go out there and play those girls from Bellarmine and see how
Yeah,
much you get beat by.
it's not happening. But
And you can't play those girls from U of L because
yes,
right?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's great to see her, find her game, get it back, and this is going to be a big confidence boost, and hopefully she'll go on to win a couple more times.
Why do the Asians dominate on the women's side?
Because they stay on the putting green until dark, and then past dark, and then past dark, and then when you wake up in the morning, they're still on the putting green with their little umbrellas.
More discipline.
And I'm telling you, it is crazy to sit there, and you can go to any LPGA Tour event, from the Symetra Tour to the LPGA Tour, and the Asians are outworking the Americans.
They're
left
more
and
disciplined
right.
on the practice tee for sure. They're
Yes.
going to make more practice swings because of the limited golf course experience that they
Yes.
have. Then also too, you got to throw in the consideration of national teams and federations.
Right.
And seeing that when I was at the British Amateur, I mean, it's incredible to they walk around like a high school squad.
Yes.
Or a college squad.
Yeah.
College squad would be better than a high school squad with these players, and they're all great players. And so the federation process, to where they're going to hit balls, do their repetitions, they're going to practice better than you because they know how.
Yes.
And then the second part is they do stick around on
And
the
I'm not
putting green and
knocking.
work
I'm not
hard
knocking
on
the
their chip.
Americans. They're working hard, but I'm telling you, I've been in enough LPGA events, especially on the Symetra Tour, where you're obviously working to try to get on the LPGA Tour, and it is. I'm telling you, they're just over there on the putting. I don't know how it's boring to me. I don't know how
Well,
anybody does
Lydia
it.
Cohen is not. She's a New Zealander. She
Yeah,
is one of the
she's
best
right.
players that quickly has won majors at the youngest age, and
Yes.
blah blah blah.
Phenom.
Lydia,
I mean,
yeah, she
total
has been a
phenom.
phenom.
Yes.
Yeah, and then for her to fall off and then build her swing
Right.
back, and there was a lot of people because she was working with David Ledbetter,
Right.
had the A swing, and
Well, let me-
there was just a lot of talk about how she fell off and lost her
Right.
confidence. But again, when you put the work in a game of golf, you don't know if it's today,
Right.
you don't know if it's tomorrow, but you're working for 36 days down the road,
Right.
trying to peak. And
Well, you
be
being
better
a
at these
teacher, let me
events.
ask you this question. And when you're grooving it, why mess with it?
You don't.
But why? Why does everybody? I mean, I know there was interviews with Tiger that he wanted to perfect it. Say change, but I just don't get it, man. When you're riding,
Well, I think
the
that when
high-
you get to that level, I mean, you're always looking to get better,
You're
and
look-
so you're
yeah, I get it.
experimenting. So
But-
and you also know the ebbs and flows of the game, and
but
so
it's kind of like the check engine light's not on, so just push the gas pedal and go. I don't get the whole.
I agree with that.
I need to change this, I need to change that. So at some point, I'm not a golf teacher, you are, but at some point, why doesn't their teacher just, hey, I can't do nothing for you. Let's just
Chip
keep
and
hitting.
putt.
Just
Let's
keep
chip
hitting.
and putt.
You're the greatest. Like at that point, why don't you just build their confidence saying,
Well, I think
this
you
is
do.
the greatest
I mean,
swing I've ever
every
seen.
player is different,
yeah.
and I mean, when you have the opportunity to coach somebody like Tiger, I mean, I would have to assume, as and you know what that means,
Right.
that I'm making an ass out of you and me. But
Right.
I would have to assume that when you're coaching a player like that they're going to be telling you what to do. And going to that point,
Yeah, but at some
Lydia
point you
Cohen
gotta
is
override
working with
them.
Sean Foley,
Right.
and who did Tiger really kind of start coming back with? I mean,
Right.
and that's the great thing about it. And then Sean Foley, there's a whole nother topic that we could talk about,
Right.
and his Instagram post and what's this mean and what's that mean. But he basically has questioned what he was doing, probably more so after Tiger fired him.
Right.
Justin Rose lets him go. A lot of people are letting him go. But that's the ebb and flow of that
Right.
industry. And, he is simply one of the best in our industry.
Right.
And to be able to grab somebody like Lydia and build her back up from what, essentially where Tiger was when he started building Tiger
Right.
back.
Well, this is
And-
what I like about Justin so much, though. I mean, he works with his dad. It's kind of low profile.
Right.
His dad knows the swing, and it's just kind of. I mean, let's face it. He's got the upright swing. Things aren't, basically cookie cutter, and it's not Adam Scott looking. But Adam Scott finished last in the Masters.
Yeah, but he's got a green jacket. He's there.
Right, I get that,
he's there
and
to
Justin will
dinner
have
every
one
Tuesday.
too. But at some point, I just think you have to become more of a psychologist and back them off and be like, "Hey, look, you're fine. You're winning."
Well, there's a lot of that comes
Right.
into the teaching, but
Right.
I mean, also too, there's a lot of the science that is now measurements, and you're able to record, and you're able to say, "Hey, you know what? With the physiologist, this is what he was doing when he was peaking at this time. What do you see?"
Right.
And the level of intensity of the posse now around great golfers is crazy, and the best players are, in my opinion, have always been the lone wolves.
So, are you a fan of the posses, or are you a fan of the lone
I'm
wolf?
in the posse. What are you talking
I
about?
get
You
that.
know
I
I'm a
get
fan
that.
of the
Yeah.
posse. Let's go, bro.
Right.
But I mean, my posse is in the sense of just making sure that the player is not thinking over everything and just playing golf. I mean,
Right.
and getting with the right people that say, you know what? You are a good player. You got here because you were a lone wolf and you were out there doing the work. And when you ultimately have to step up and hit a shot, guess who's doing it?
Right.
Not your caddy.
No.
Right?
Nobody's doing it.
Now, if you hit it really good, I'll be the first one to be like, yeah, let's go, boss.
When you hit it bad,
Huh?
it's
Let's go, boss.
It's caddy's fault when you hit it bad.
Always. Tell me a caddy story on your part.
Oh, let's see. Do I even really have any? That's a tough one. We'll have to come back to that. I'm not sure
don't
I
have
any
one?
Right. Yeah, it's kind of put me on the spot there.
I did. I'm going to tell you one of mine.
some,
I want to go with a caddy story of one of my own. I was so excited. I'm not going to name drop, but he used to work for a guy who.
Do you want a local caddy story or?
No, yeah, this is just
right,
me and you
all right.
caddy stories.
All right,
I mean,
all right, I'll tell a caddy story. Okay.
I don't want to.
I'm not going to drop a name here, obviously.
I'm going to let you go first.
Okay, so this guy basically used to own a golf shop here in Louisville, and he was a super nice guy, but when he got on a golf course, he was very, very competitive. So we're out at, I'm not going to mention the golf course, but
Valhalla.
So we're out at Valhalla. He hits a ball into the bunker on number 3, par 3. He hits a sand wedge out of the bunker and takes his putter and makes a putt. And we all know when you never walked over to the tee on 4 from 3, you always went out to the fairway. So I go out to the fairway, and I've got his sand wedge in my hand, and I clean the sand off of it, but I never put it back in the bag. I just kind of had it in my hand. He hits a tee shot on 4, and he's right at about 105 yards. And about 50 yards from me, he starts yelling at me, "Hey, what the F?" Just drops a couple F-bombs and says, "Don't you ever pull a club for me, ever." And I'm looking at him like, I didn't pull this club. I never put it back in the bag. He hit a bunker shot with it on 3, but I never put it back in the bag. And I'm just like standing there like, I'm dropping this bastard's bag right here. I mean,
Well, how old are you on?
We were on 4.
4.
And he's just cold yelling at me. I mean, just like, don't you ever pull a club for me. And I'm thinking, this is great. I mean, you're 105 yards. You actually need this club. But just out of spite, he pulls the pitching wedge.
Right.
And just totally just lays a sod over it. And obviously it's my fault because he thinks I pulled the club.
You run up there and get that sod. Those were back in the good old days of
when they would leave the beaver pellets.
Man, the biggest beaver
so
pellets.
I throw it back down, and I'm just sitting there. And I mean, I literally went like 2 holes, like thinking, this bag's getting dropped. I'm looking at who I can hang this thing on that's in the group that can carry doubles that I dislike, which I liked everybody out there. But
there was always that one guy, though, in that group.
And the funny thing about this guy is he was a super nice guy. I ran into him not too long ago at a local restaurant, talked to him for a little bit. He was just so competitive on the golf course. I don't know if he just disliked caddies or disliked me, or I don't know, who knows. But
did y'all make amends in the round?
No, I just didn't talk to him for about 3 or 4 holes. Yeah, actually, I guess we did. Because, I mean, I caddied for him several times. I was always on his bag. But he liked to throw clubs. He liked to break them. He was just that guy on the golf course.
I was caddying for a guy who was a guest of a local pizza chain that is no longer his.
Yeah.
And he had a very good player that was part of his team.
Yeah.
And he has played on the PGA Tour. And I was so excited because it was the first time I ever got to caddy for a guy who played on the PGA Tour. And we were playing on the hole number 1. This is the old Valhalla now, so they used to have a bit swell in the bottom right corner of that green.
That green, yeah.
The flag stick was sitting right on top of it. He splits the middle of the fairway. Got a light bag too.
Oh, that
I'm
makes it
so
even
excited.
brighter.
I mean, he brought his Jones carry bag.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's go. I'm running out there, telling him how far he has. He hits his shot, and this is back in the day, so there's a lot of balls that he's playing, or the professionals, whatever it was, in 94, 95. And excuse me, that was probably like 91 or 92.
Yeah, so we were playing Baladas.
Yeah, he was playing Baladas, and this ball just never leaves the flag stick. I had given him like 99 yards or something like that, and I gave him like 99. He walks up there, the ball hits right next to the flag, spins back down that hill, all the way down into the swell. He throws it down, makes a big old beaver pellet. I'm still excited. I run up there, get the divot, put it back in there, grab the Jones bag. I'm running up there, catch up to him. He walks up there, he throws me his ball. He goes, "Son, that was 101 yards." And I said, "Excuse me?" And he had paced it off. He said, "That was 101 yards. If you're going to give me yardage, you need to give me the exact yardage." And I said,
"Wow."
I called him by his name. I said, "Mr. blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You can get your yardage the rest of the day, sir."
Ooh.
And I did not.
Wow.
I just carried that Jones bag, and he did not say a word to me. I did not say a word to him. And on the 9th green, he asked me which way the ball broke. And we were up there on that back. It was a back hole.
Back right pin.
No,
look,
it was a back left.
back,
It was
okay,
the back
that's
left.
yeah,
And I mean, you know, and it was
back
pretty.
right one was
and he
tricky.
just like, it was the first time, and it was like the entry into, do you want a caddy dog? Which I was like, hell yeah, I do.
Right.
Right. But I mean, he goes, that was 101 yards. Like, and he did it like kind of, it was kind of cool. I mean, you know, looking back on it,
I mean,
it
was he
cool.
being sarcastic or was he actually
he
being
was
serious?
being a D-bag.
Oh, okay, all right.
I mean, I'll call him
Wow.
out.
Well,
I
you know,
mean, I'm a
Franklin
looper. I could say,
Right.
this is my podcast. If I want to say D-bag,
Well, you know Franklin Starks years ago when I first caddied at
don't tell any
LCC.
Franklin Stark stories.
Well, Franklin told me one thing. He said, Joey, he said, listen, he said, you spend 4 hours on the golf course with somebody, you will learn their true character. Said they're going to be, if they're cheap to you, they're cheap.
Right.
So if they're condescending, they're condescending. So if they're great to you, they're great to you. That's their real personality. And, you know, I just, you know.
Makes sense.
And it's true.
That's a looper story right there.
it's
And I love that you
absolutely
looped
true.
at Louisville Country Club. I never looped at Louisville
Yeah.
Country Club, and we spoke about this last week, but being an alumni of Louisville Country Club, when you drop all those old school names,
Oh,
and
yeah.
obviously you drop
Franklin
Franklin
let me
Starks, and
actually
you look
play.
at Louisville, I mean, you know, the Starks building
Oh, yeah.
downtown, the family has done a lot in our community and given a lot of themselves to our community.
Right. I mean, Franklin let me hit my first golf shot at LCC on about the fourth or fifth.
I got
hole.
a great Franklin Stark story, but I'm not sharing that
Right.
today. That's going to have to be like podcast number 22.
But what he said is the truth. I mean, really, truly, I think when you get on the golf course, your true personality comes out. So if you
Right.
act like a
well, and
D-bag, you're a D-bag.
Well,
I mean,
you know,
I'm
and that's
sorry.
what Lydia Cohen did. She fired a lot of caddies in her process and climbing back, and now she settled on what she, you know, last year really made the rise back up to the leaderboard on that game. And to see her get back on top of the leaderboards, yeah, we want every American to really dominate that
Right.
leaderboard, especially in the majors for the LPGA.
Right.
And I think you're going to see that with the Cordes sisters, and you see the game kind of evolving, but going backwards. I mean, the Lydia Cohen, again, the test of time, proving that these girls can play. They're young, they're athletic. She's one of the best players that's ever teed it up.
Oh, absolutely.
And
No
you
doubt.
know,
You know,
and what
PGA
she's
Tour.
doing for the women's game, and what she's doing for like Sean Foley, and what those guys do for the whole posse effect, I think it's pretty interesting in that
Right.
regards, and it's a good kind of team atmosphere, and that's what makes golf so great. Is that, you know, not only is it just you swinging a handle, but when you have a looper, it's a team.
Yeah.
And you're always at fault as a looper.
No, yeah.
and then when you're a good one, though, you take your player to the next level.
Yeah. I mean, I always kind of preferred the guys who just did all the stuff themselves, and I was just hanging the bag on my.
So Lydia Cohen, what she's accomplished over the last, 6 months, rising back up that leaderboard. I'm looking forward to watching those girls compete. I'm looking forward to seeing the Cordes sisters chase her. I'm looking forward to seeing the Solheim Cup this year too.
Yeah.
I mean, what a great year for golf. I mean, we're going to have the Olympics. We're going to have the Solheim. We're going to have the Ryder Cup. We're going to have all the majors. The game is back. There's a lot of people playing. A lot of excitement around the game. So, speaking of that, I know you got your fingers on the locals golf scene. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, we just had they had a 2-man up at Christmas Lake, or Santa Claus Land, Christmas Lake, whatever it is. Nobody ever bothered to send me the results, so if you've got them and you're listening to this, send them to me. I'd like to post them. Upcoming this weekend is the South Park 2-man Invitational at South Park Country Club, which hopefully the weather be good. It was a mess last year, but obviously looking outside, I don't
Right.
know how we're going to do there.
And so, in running the Louisville Metro Facebook page and all that, and trying to get the information out, it's a lot about what amateurs can play in.
Yeah.
And it's just the ones that are kind of not your private club, your semi-private club, your resort clubs, or your public golf courses, and having their events. And if you have anything that you want to have Joey promote, I mean, you got to send it to him.
Well, that or post it yourself. I have no problem with anybody putting that up themselves, and,
Oh, there you go.
and posting as long as, they put the information out there. Usually most people used to send me things and I would post it, but to be honest with you, I'd rather you actually stick it up there yourself. I have no problem with that. If you got a flyer that is, the Wang Dang Invitational, whatever, I don't care if it's a super scramble money game. I don't care if it's a,
I want to play in the Wang Dang Invitational.
Yeah,
Can I play in that?
I don't know where that came from.
The Wang Dang Invitational, I want to play it. You know what's exciting too about this upcoming week here in Louisville is that the Derby.
Yes.
We're right in the mix of the the build up to Derby Week, and
Yes.
Derby Week is always the hole-in-one challenge. It has traditionally been the Don Fight Master for
Yes, great
for
tournament.
exceptional kids, and one of my favorite. Well, not one of the favorite event that I've always
Yeah, you've always
been able to participate. And let's speak a little bit about those too. I mean, and let's tell a couple of stories. Do you have any stories on your hole-in-one challenge? Have you ever qualified?
No, I've never qualified. I may have shanked one into somebody.
How
once
much
or
money do you
twice,
think you have donated to
You know, I
that?
never was a big spender on that thing. I'll be honest with you, I loved it better when it was down at River Road. I thought
Oh,
the
yeah.
atmosphere was better because you would go down there and hang out, drink
Right.
a few beers. I think it's a big giant cluster in Seneca Park. You know,
I do too.
I think it's dangerous. If
Yep.
you really want to know the
I
truth.
agree.
Well, we know
I am-
Seneca is proven to be
right.
dangerous. So,
But, okay, so yeah, let's talk. Well, let's not. We'll get
well,
on the subject
anyways,
another time.
but
anyway,
I've qualified a couple times.
Yeah.
yeah, have you?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Have you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I finished third once.
Did you really?
Did you
Yeah.
get to hit the shot on? So that's the cool thing is the use of Seneca,
Right.
And
Now
and
I think that part's great
on
you know,
hole number
but-
8 and how much fun that is
that can
when
be
they're down
dangerous,
there.
but-
Well, it's dangerous because the ball can go anywhere.
Yeah, with
I
me
mean,
hitting it would. So that's probably why I've never
you
qualified.
would be over there on hole
But,
number 1, your favorite hole.
But you know, here let's go back and realize, you know, that thing I believe was it started by Gene Sullivan when he was on the, and it used to be
There's
at
a good
Wildwood.
possibility
It
of
used to be
that.
at Wildwood.
Makes
It
sense.
used to be
Yeah,
on the
it
18th
is.
hole at Wildwood.
Right.
And they always had the qualifier down at River Road, which I actually thought the atmosphere down there was so much better. You know, I'd drive down there and hit balls. And
Zorn Avenue
you'd
and right
run
there at
into
the water
10,
park.
15 people
Yeah.
you knew, and you'd grab some beers, whatever.
I would volunteer and do that. I
I
actually
like
gotta-
to, I like that's where I qualified is
Yes.
actually at the water tower.
Right.
I picked up some members doing that once when I was down there, and
Right.
I just working the tent because the KPGA always had a
Right.
golf professional
Yeah.
that went down there, and I would go down and make that. And Derby Week, I want to do everything I can to get out of the golf shop or out
Sure.
of my
Yeah,
daily
absolutely,
life.
yeah.
You know, at
Right.
that point in time, and that was to play golf and have fun and experience Louisville as you should experience
Right.
it. Never really qualified though. Never even tried.
I don't even think I ever even
Yeah.
hit the green in all the years.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding up there.
But I mean, I know,
you know.
people that have gotten that shot. I mean, and it would be great to see. Has anybody ever hit that shot?
No,
No.
nobody's ever
I don't
made
think
it. I
it-
think the closest maybe a few inches.
Is
and I'm,
this the year that somebody makes
well,
that?
how cool would it be? I mean, I hope I know them. I hope they like me. I hope
Oh,
they-
we'll bring them
might
onto the
buy
show
me a
for
beer
sure.
at
$1 million.
least,
It might be Teague.
right.
No,
It might be
I'm
our-
gonna go try to qualify. It's
So
been a minute.
how
You
many?
got to do it though.
It's been a minute.
Have you ever qualified, Josh?
I've never
Come
even
close to-
tried. I mean,
never
I'm
even
a
tried?
PGA professional. I could take that money.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, I'd give up
I'd
my
take
amateur
that
status
money.
for that.
I'll take that money.
I mean-
No, I've never even, like I said, anytime that I ever got away for that would be to go down there and teach. And this
Yeah.
is when I was a head professional and my former.
So you're giving
when
lessons
I was-
during the hole in one.
Oh,
here?
yeah, I would
Mr.
be
Smith,
down there,
I need
and
you
then
to put this
Mr.
back in your
Smith would
stance and
come
hit a little
join my
stinger up
club,
there,
and I mean, and then all of a sudden I had Mr. Smith for
Right.
member for life, and as
Love this time in Louisville.
but it's just so much fun to be down there, and I do agree with that. I have never been to the Seneca part.
It's
Probably fun. I mean,
Look, I mean, I'm
let's be honest.
I'm not going to
it's
get
gonna
into
be fun.
You know,
Let's not
gonna
talk.
get into
Let's not talk
controversial
about that.
stuff,
Let's
but,
celebrate Derby for
right,
what it is. But I do remember that Zorn Avenue
Oh, I loved it.
location, and I mean,
Loved
it's
it.
just like all the chow wagons where they were everywhere.
Loved it.
I mean, who remembers the chow wagons?
Oh,
Even
yeah.
Teague, being the youngest
Oh,
guy
yeah.
here at this table,
Yeah, we used to have
remembers the
6
good
or
chow
7 of
wagons.
those chow wagons.
Oh,
in
the
town.
the
You know,
chow wagon
any
in
part
the
of town
South
you live
End.
in. Oh well, let's not go into that. That's
Well, that's
that
a
could take
different
up a whole-
story.
that could
That's
take up a
for
whole
next week.
episode,
We'll
yeah.
have our Derby podcast for next week. But I do want to shout out the Shawnee and the facilities,
Yeah.
the First Tee program, and everything that they have done for the Dom Fight Master, and what Mr. Fight Master did for golf in our community was incredible as
Now
well.
that was originally at River Road Country Club, correct?
That was
Okay,
originally
all right.
River Road. That was originally probably in the early 80s,
Yeah.
somewhere along there.
What a
And-
great guy! What a
Oh,
great tournament.
Fantastic gentleman of the game. I mean, just a fantastic gentleman and a true ambassador for the game of golf.
Those kids loved it, man.
Yes.
I went down there several times and did the teaching piece of that. It was just
Well, and that's the cool
the
part.
kids loved it.
And they bring in all the kids from the community. The high school
Oh,
golfers
yeah.
are there.
They got a
They're
lot out
walking
of
with
it.
the group, and I
Yep.
mean, it's such a special day. And as a professional, like Teague said, when you're down there and you're working at
Right.
camp, I mean, it was the best. And
So are they just not having it because of COVID?
COVID
Again?
reasons, and
Okay.
again with these kids being in the
Yeah, I guess
kind
that
of
makes
category
perfect
that
sense, yes.
if anything happens, they're
Yeah.
going to be the easiest. So I'm really looking forward to that getting back onto the schedule next year, and I'm excited about the possibilities of the first tee really taking this to the next level. What they're going to do to be able to honor Mr. Fightmaster, who just recently passed. I believe it's been about almost a year and a half, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I say recently, but I mean,
it was a year ago.
You're right around that time, and I mean, just remember what he's done for the game of golf in our community. So, any other Derby things that you're looking forward to?
I mean, I always loved Derby in Louisville.
You try to play anywhere Derby week?
No, I don't. I mean, everybody used to jump up the prices. All the clubs I worked at used to. Oh no, we're regular green fees 35. They're 95 this week.
When do you start caddying again?
I mean, I'm always looping somewhere for somebody doing something.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always doing that stuff.
The section used to have that scramble where the professionals played, and that was always Derby week.
Derby Pro-Am.
The Derby Pro-Am. I won that like 3 times.
Derby Pro-Am. I played it. I got some of my best tee gifts from that.
Yeah, I have a bunch of trophies from that
I'm
one.
not
I
100% positive on that, and you would think I would be with PGA connections. You know where that fell apart, though, while we're talking about that, is when they went across the river to Indiana. There was no reason for them to cross the river, and they crossed the river. And
they had it at Cardinal Club a few times. They had it at Oxmoor once.
Yeah.
You're right, though. That's
when
it
went
fell
across
apart.
the river and went to Cover Bridge and
Yeah.
Not.
It is the Kentucky section.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the Derby here. I mean,
Right.
this is not the
Right.
Indiana Derby. They have the 500. This is
Right.
the Kentucky Derby, and it needed to be there. And the support from the Kentucky section when it went across went downhill a little bit. But just a great week. I always like to try to play golf sometime in these 2 weeks coming up. I mean, there's only a few times where I get excited to play golf. This is one of the weeks that I really do. With Derby, and maybe it's just because I like to play hooky, and I think that if you're a Louisvillian and you're not playing hooky during Derby week, you're doing yourself wrong.
Now, is this a big week for Valhalla?
Always has been.
Oh man, it was. I'll tell you, it was. If you didn't work this week, you were missing out. It was, you got to meet celebrities and everything.
Gotcha.
I mean,
I figured as much.
You had to be in with Don.
Yeah, you didn't want to get in his doghouse.
You didn't want to be in his doghouse going early into the season, and Josh, I'm sorry, I ain't got nothing for you.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you, I love that man.
Oh, he's definitely going to be somebody that we have in as a guest. I mean, but you're right, Teague. Yeah, the Derby week when you were caddying was.
I remember
at
Willie
my time
Nelson
it was $20 more.
Right.
So I mean, that's how I remember it. I was back in the $18.
Well, you never knew what you were going to get. I
Right.
mean, I remember Willie Nelson coming out, and they kind of. I don't remember. I wasn't in the group, but
yesterday was Willie Nelson's day.
I still can't pass a drug test to this day because of that. I think I was
because you looped for
That's
Willie.
interesting. That's funny.
Was he playing with Mr. Snow?
Steve
Snow. You remember Snowman, don't you?
Yeah.
We're not
David.
named.
You talking about David Snow? Yeah.
David Snow.
David
yeah.
Snow, yeah.
Steve Snow was my guy.
Yeah, Steve Snow, the rock star.
Yeah, I mean, it was being out there at Derby time was. There were two of my favorite golf courses to be at during Derby time were Audubon Country Club and Valhalla.
There you go.
I mean, because believe it or not, there was kind of a lot of celebrities that came in to Audubon.
Oh yeah.
Why?
Proximity.
They just did proximity to the airport.
They're staying at the
Okay.
golf house.
All right.
Pee Wee Reese was a member there. Paul Horning was a member.
Right.
So
yeah.
And then who was the sports writer? Reed.
Billy Reed.
Billy Reed played there quite a bit. So
Gotcha.
You would see a lot of.
I could see that being a happening place. And
you gotta tell the Ron Harper story sometime.
Oh, I will definitely share the next week. I will share the Ron Harper.
Did you look for Ron Harper?
I did not loop for him. This is a head professional Derby week story.
Oh, okay.
I will definitely save that for next week.
I can't wait to hear that one.
That is definitely a classic moment in the head professional world.
Yeah, we got to hopefully we can tell some good caddy stories during this.
Well,
you kind of put me on the spot earlier because I just drew a blank because I wasn't in that mode. But there's some good ones we can tell.
Oh, no doubt. I did like Valhalla caddying the few years of Derby week, and it just really is a kickoff of golf here. Yeah. After Derby, we kind of get the Masters kind of gets you teased. But then we all have, as Louisvillians, we're focusing on the Derby and all the festivities, and now moving into what we're doing right here. After this, let's play golf.
Yeah, like I said, you did not. You want to be on your best behavior. You did not want to get in Don's doghouse.
No way.
Derby week.
Well, hey, I appreciate everybody checking in on our podcast. Like I said, this is Game 3. We have been very excited to promote this and get this out to everybody. We want to do a quick pick of the Zurich Classic. I'm going to give you a couple name drops. I'm going to get my cousin T-Rock from around the block.
I got your pick.
All right, you're going to give me a couple, and I'm going to go with 3 areas because this is a team event. I'm going with an international team, a European team, which I did say last week I will always spit out first, and then my American team, and they're winners. And you're going to watch these guys play on top of the leaderboard. I guarantee it. So with the Euro team, give me Graham McDowell, Matt Wallace. McDowell, Wallace.
Why?
McDowell, who is a USGA champion, and Wallace, who is a future baller who's been playing well this year. He will win a major. I am also taking on the international. Don't ask why. I mean, I'm just dropping them out there, man.
I'm trying to give you some.
I appreciate it. I know what you do there, cuz. I know what you do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take on my international team the South Africans. Give me Louis Oosthuizen and Carl Schwartzel.
I love Louis' swing.
Oh, he's the best.
I'll tell you.
He's
great.
one of my favorites.
Right,
he looks
ready?
like Shrek. All right, and I got
Y'all ready?
one more. Hold up.
Right.
I got my guys from the US of A, Cameron Champ and Tony Finau.
Oh, Jesus, you just took my pick.
How did I
Damn
really?
you.
Well, we were talking about Tony. I mean,
No,
he needs
man.
wins.
Champ
So
hadn't
let's-
been playing well.
No,
Yeah,
but I mean,
I'm
this is
taking
the type of golf course Pete Dye. You hit it straight and you play in these team events. Both of those guys are going to make a lot of birdies this week.
Well, you took my pick there.
Well, then
So,
you better.
I gotta. You go ahead.
No. We need you first, and then we get cousin T in here.
All
at
right,
the
I'm
end.
going with this is a goofy pick. Off the wall,
Mm-hmm.
just because it just popped up in my head, and this is a hunch. I've won some horse races doing this, and this is probably the dumbest pick, but I'm going with Terrell Hatton and Danny Willett.
International
And
squad.
and
It's
I
Ryder Cup
like
year.
Terrell, but Danny, I don't. Yeah, whatever. But I'm gonna pick it anyway.
Yeah, good pick. All right, Teague.
All right, so I'm going to give you who I think is going to win. So I think your winners are going to be, I'm going to give you an international team. So it's going to be Cam Smith and Leishman. I think that's your winners. That's who I put on top.
Australians.
Now I'm going to give
That's for
you.
that Aussie
Now
hook.
look. Rahm and Palmer ran away with this thing last year, so it's hard to not play them. So if you're doing a DraftKings and you're taking 6 squads, I think Rahm and Palmer got to be in your picks. I also think that Cam Smith and Leishman have to be there. Now here's a couple long shots. You may not even know some of these names, so these are going to be some off the wall ones. Justin Sue and Doug Gim. Both of them have been playing really well as of late.
Okay.
Moving up the leaderboard, both playing for some. They've got some motivation, and then the other one is Scott Piercy and Bahita. So this guy was and I think that's how you say it, Bahtia. So he was
Bahita.
the best amateur, and then I think he played for Phil Mickelson's brother at Arizona State.
Mm-hmm.
And Phil Mickelson has taken him under his wing. The guy will have like unbelievably low rounds, and then he'll have a high round and then a low round. I think there's just a matter of time for this guy to take it over.
Team
It's
event.
a team
I mean,
event.
You know, that's a
Right.
good
He makes a
pick.
ton of birdies, and,
Yeah.
and this is when Piercy's steady, right? So
Right.
I feel like it's a good team.
And that's what you need. I mean, you need a team event. You need guys. This is like playing in the 2-man down there at South Park. You
Yeah.
need to mesh, get somebody with. Are you playing this weekend?
There will probably be a murder-suicide.
Who you playing with?
My group, a guy named Todd Ray.
Todd Ray.
yeah, so-
Todd Ray.
Murder, suicide.
Yeah,
what
we're
does
not
that
sure,
mean?
We're not sure whether or not he's going to kill me and then kill himself, or I'm going to kill him and then kill myself. But
Oh.
we probably may-
Just with that Australia, if he's not watching out on he will get hooked though, right? You playing left-handed or right-handed?
I have not decided. I hit practice balls left-handed the other day, and I'm probably going to have.
I would do the odds and evens.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to carry a left-handed driver, left-handed,
What? Well, wait a
right-handed,
minute.
left-handed driver.
Oh yeah, you
and,
hear is right. You hear is
and,
right.
I'm probably.
You don't
gonna-
have to adjust your
I'm going to
earphones.
have a set of mixed
So
clubs.
you play both,
Yeah, that's how athletic.
and you
Joey
don't know
is.
how better. You don't know if you're better one side or the other.
Oh, he does.
I've
at
gotten
one
so
point.
bad right-handed that I can beat myself left-handed now. So, yeah, I'm gonna carry a. You don't need. There's certain clubs you don't need at South Park. So
It's
I'm
like
just,
Jesse Mudd, man. He used
yeah.
to be able to
Well,
play
actually,
both
I got
sides.
Jesse's clubs in my bag.
Oh,
Funny
there you
story.
go. All right.
Jesse came back into town and.
Is that why you got a
And-
Florida hat on?
But I'm a Florida fan. But now Jesse came back into town not too long ago, and apparently he didn't know that Eddie had given me his golf club.
That's hilarious. Well,
All right.
What I tell you what, I mean, best of luck to you. I
Yeah.
would definitely go left-handed and right-handed. I have the combo set, and
Yeah, I've got
then
it-
that way,
it's-
if you feel like
It's going to be.
it fits your eye more, left-handed, carve it on
Well,
in
I'm
there,
definitely
man.
going to be hitting wedges left.
Can you break 80 on both sides?
I've broke 80 2 or 3 times left-handed. used to be able to consistently break 80 right-handed, but I can't break 90 anymore.
Man,
so.
we can't. Next week is going to be.
Yeah, I think my low score
Forget the
left-handed.
PGA
That's
Tour
fascinating.
tee. We're going to be looking at this South Park, and we're going to go through the South Park
Yeah,
leaderboard.
we ought to do a fantasy
I like
golf
it.
on that.
Yeah,
I
we'll
like it.
definitely have the lefties, righties right there. But best of luck to you this
Yeah.
week.
Pullman's still out at South Park?
Yes, he's still.
He's
out there.
tough,
He's the
man.
man.
That dude can play.
That guy can play.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun. Hopefully, the weather holds up.
Well, I'm
like I
sure
said,
David Huffman.
like I
and
said,
his
between
team,
me and
they
my
will
partner,
do a great
Oh,
job
yeah,
out there at
Huffman-
South Park.
Huffman's
He's a-
awesome, man. He's
yeah,
a great pro.
He's a fantastic golf professional. He's well schooled in the Metro Parks
Yes.
department, and he is even better out there at South Park. And
They'll
he's
probably
really
have to,
grown in. So,
they'll probably have to check my group to make sure we don't carry a gun and we don't have a knife when we come on the property.
well, they should do that everywhere at South Park.
because,
I mean, you are in Fairdale, bro.
Well, but I'm just saying, just so he
you
doesn't
know I
kill
love
me
some
and I don't
Fairdale.
kill
South Side.
him. Yeah.
Let's go. All right, let's ride this thing out. Hey, good luck this weekend. Thank y'all for checking in our podcast. We will be back next week. Derby stories.
Right.
More
And do
about
not
golf.
pick my players in the Zurich Classic.
And a fantasy recap of the South Park 2-man Invitational. Bump that out, T.